Dear friends, welcome again for a new series of programs called The Verdict of Science Creation, hosted by Alpha Omega TV, Timisoara. Mr. John Mackay, International Director for Creation Research Australia, very glad to have you back again.
G'day Romulus, it's good to be back in the country.
Mr. Mackay, the news are just filled with shootings, killings, children are killing children, students are aiming their guns at teachers, at students. Can you please give us your insight?
Well, it is largely an American phenomenon still, although you're starting to see it happen in other countries. And because I do a lot of work in schools and educational institutions, we have bothered to try and find out what's going on behind the scene. It is interesting in the first of these, remember the massive Colorado one?
Yes,
the Columbine school killings?
Yes.
We've had a lot of time now to pick up data and even the tapes that the Sheriff's Office have released and played and that have left one point very, very pointed. These young men who did those killings, who dressed in black and went in and shot up all their school friends, basically had an atheistic, evolutionist mindset. So that, one of them is on record as saying that such and such a person, look at the face evolution has given him, he deserves to be blown away. And so therefore there's no doubt about it that, like Stalin, this young man believed that we were just animals and life was all there was. So why not go out with a bang? If we came in with a big bang, then let's go out with a big bang. And he did. But of course the tragedy is, so did many of his school friends that he killed off with him. Now the second one, which has just occurred in, Red Lake, an Indian tribal county, we don't know a huge amount yet because the press hasn't, I guess you can say, delved into it. The Sheriff's Office hasn't released anything, so we don't know a huge amount of detail there. But having known one church which ministers to that tribal community, their interesting comment is there's a lot of spiritism there, a lot of occult. So if that's the case, then again you get a devaluation of human life, because the history of Europe tells us whenever you dabble in the occult, you get an increase in sacrifices, in sort of ceremonial killings. It's all part of the occult mentality. I suspect that what we're looking at in the whole of modern educational philosophy is the outworking of an anti-Christian, anti-creation, anti-God mentality about what man is. And in that case, man gets his value only because he's made in God's image. Strip that from society, then what is man? He's just an animal, he's just a thing, he can be disposed of, and in one way you'll go with evolution and the other way you'll go with the occult. The result's the same no matter what. I
just remember in the Columbine school, am I right, these young people, they aimed at guns at Christians willfully?
Yes,
I can recall some
there's certainly
discussion.
Some of the students who were shot were Christians because they're on record as having given Christian testimonies both before that and on the day they were shot. And particularly their parents have come out afterwards and declared, that my daughter is now with Christ in heaven, certain of that because of their Christian faith.
Just saying, this is just incidental that they shut down people praying. It was some kind of a prayer meeting going on. It's just coincidence, or it just comes in line with, I know it's kind of speculation, but I just want to get to the point of occultism has always something against Christianity. You mentioned this Indian tribal school. As I can recall correctly, this young man mentioned in his whatever leftovers that he had a high respect for Hitler. Hitler was all occult. That's right. So all things seem to be coming together.
They match together. And of course Hitler, of course, is basically evolutionary occult as well. And we don't know that about the young man at the moment, but given the nature of American education, the public schooling system is full of evolutionary philosophy, and it's no surprise that increasingly students dabble in the occult. And so yes, if they move into the occult, they will even if they don't do it consciously, become the enemies of Christianity. I mean, you've only got to look through the history of Europe, and my name being Mackay, my ancestors coming from Scotland, we were into the occult, right? And we killed people, we ate people, and particularly the missionaries. Right? So therefore, it is only the coming of the gospel which puts a stop to that. But if you get back into the occult, you will automatically become the enemy of Christians.
Who are to be blamed? Governments are saying guns. Ban guns, got rid of the problem. What would you ban?
Well, it's true in the history of the world that a people really only gets the government which they deserve. It's a sad truth, but we tolerate governments instead of usually standing up for the truth. In the Western systems of democracy, the governments reflect the nature of the voting public. So if they put a anti-gun government in, it's because the people themselves already believe that the guns are the problem, right? In other words, they're shifting the blame. Now, I don't know about you, but it's very easy to look up the statistics in Europe or in Australia or in America and find out that more people are killed by cars than are killed by guns, right?
Ban cars.
But nobody bans cars, right? Because that's too convenient for us. But in a society which no longer hunts, it's very easy to blame the gun. But it's not the fault of the gun either. Right? Guns don't go around shooting people, right? Cars don't go around killing people. It's always the person behind the gun. It's not the bullet, it's not the gun, it's not the sale of the gun. There are plenty of places in America you can go and buy a gun over the counter, you know, even in a restaurant almost. So it's been a gun culture because only 200 years ago they were widely hunting their food. One of our friends in the USA, he's got a wall full of guns, right? And he still enjoys hunting. In Australia we hunt a lot still. I've got kangaroos on my property, and if you're growing wheat and corn, that can be a little problem. So it's not the fault of the gun, but we are looking at a society which, having abandoned the belief that man is accountable, always tries to shift the problem somewhere else. I mean, the insurance company is built on this, isn't it? Get a policy which insures your car. Well, the car's not going to do anything, right? It's actually you who does the thing. But that's the way we've moved, to blame the thing instead of the person behind the thing. And it's again a non-creation based, it's an evolutionary base. And if you really want to know what the problem actually is, it's teaching man a wrong view of himself. So if you look at the difference, of course, if man evolved, then we're all part of a big social entity, and so the group is responsible, or the environment is responsible. If you get back and you teach man, no, God made man, we are made in his image, we are accountable to him, I pull the trigger of the gun, and therefore I do the killing. Therefore I'm responsible.
Interesting. We just mentioned children, students, guns. Aren't we lacking something, societies, aren't they lacking something like we would call a role model? I mean,